Starting, Marvin. Marvin!
John's got his own clapperboard and he's just had fun filling it in with his chalk pen. And I found my clapperboard and my partner has vandalised it. So at the top, it says...
Carry on. Go on. No, carry on. No, you carry on.
Why are you
I should say my piece in a minute. Carry on.
Yeah, but you're going to get bored and you're going to interrupt me.
I'm not going to get bored. I'll interrupt if you don't stop. Come on.
Okay, so at the top, she's written, I love Connor. Under scene, usually that's where we put the number of the episode. She's put porno scene, lol. On take, well, this is always one take. So we put take one. She's put take number 69. On roll, I put cloud. She's put roll over. On sound, usually I put zoom. She's put you sound sexy. Production company, she said it's produced by Pornhub because John's filthy, lol. Director, she's put herself. And cameraman, she says you've set it up yourself, lol. Does she think she's funny or something?
Tamsin, you need to slap her, mate. She needs to take it in hand.
Well, I should take advice from your old mate that said sometimes, women, they just need a slap to show them.
Keep me in line. Fucking, I know you don't. You don't. Never spoke to me again. Well, what I was thinking was, what I was going to say to you is, your partner. What is it with you fucking millennials and partner? What happened to good old-fashioned boyfriend and girlfriend?
My girlfriend, my cum bucket, my
cum
orgasm
bucket.
Denier.
Jizz receptacle.
Yeah, whatever you want, mate. I'm not precious. Partner's just what came to mind then. It's not a thing.
Partner.
What's wrong with it?
When you call people partner, it conjures all kinds of fucking problems. It brings up all kinds of... What about that time you went into a fucking business event with me as your partner? And we thought, yeah, business partner. They thought we were fucking bum chums.
Do you know what it probably is?
Hey?
Do you know what it probably is?
What?
I've been in the business world for so fucking long, for too long. I'm essentially a veteran. I've been in the business world longer than a lot of middle-aged men. Anyway, I've had, because I've been in it from a young age, and I had misconceptions around how, well, probably not misconceptions, but problems with how I thought I was being perceived within the business world. I think I've learned a range of vocabulary on various words to make myself sound a little bit older and more sophisticated. So when I used to say, oh, my girlfriend in these scenarios, it'd be like, oh, a little baby with his girlfriend. So maybe I reckon it's a learned response.
Good boy. So I think if you wanted to sound more sophisticated and grown up, I'd just call it a cum bucket.
That's what I am now. Now I've realised it really doesn't fucking matter how old I am because I'm better than all these cunts.
Oh,
that's what I like.
This is what gets me right. Holly's been with us, what, 6-7 months now?
Really, that long?
I know, it seems like longer, but she's got a better understanding of this marketing thing and the positioning and all the stuff that we go into in detail, the deep stuff. She has a better understanding of that than a lot of people I know I've been kind of teaching this stuff to for more than 10 years. She just does. She's really grasped it quickly. Now, whether that's because, she is clever. Of course she is. It's my fucking daughter. But she is clever. But I think as much as anything, it's because she's kind of wired up like I am, and she's taken it on board. She's really fucking gone for it, and she likes and trusts both of us. Obviously, she likes me and my dad. She has to. Got no fucking choice. It's nice to be liked by my children. That's not my aim. I don't care if they don't love me even. That's not my job. My job is to fucking bring them up and put them into the world, get them off into the world safely and well equipped to deal with it. It's not a fucking popularity contest. I'm their parent, It makes me mad. Well, it doesn't make me. I get quite frustrated when I see people describing their children as their best friends. That's singularly fucking inappropriate. I am my son, my daughter, my best mate. No. You're doing it wrong if that's the case. They're your fucking son or daughter. You can be friendly, but when it comes down to it, you're their dad or their mum. And there'll be times they want you to take that role even when they're grown up.
Yeah, I was going to say, how about when they're grown up?
Even when they're grown up, yeah. Holly, she's 23. And I'm 56. But I tell you what, even when I'm in my 80s and 90s, and she's probably in her 30s and 40s, she'll still be my little girl. She'll always be my little girl. This is why I don't want my kids seeing me when I'm old and frail. I'd rather just disappear quietly.
Well, you've said you can take yourself into the woods, bottle of
Yeah.
Jameson's and a gun.
Damn fucking right. Damn fucking right.
And make sure you got your will sorted before that, because it's going to be sooner than you think, mate.
See that? Can you see
John's
that?
giving me the finger.
Can you see
I
that?
can see that. The
Yeah,
listeners can't, but I can.
Going, well, they can if they're on fucking YouTube.
All subscribers on YouTube, they'll enjoy that.
Why the fuck did I go into business with a fucking cunt like you, eh? I could have had a real business
with
partner.
long hair.
Yeah.
None of them would have put up with you, you prick. Don't forget that.
I didn't know. I'll tell you, I didn't know what happiness in business was until I met you. Then it was too late.
It's a good one.
Boom, boom.
Saving that one.
Anyway, today we're going to carry on the pricing thing and go into something a little bit more detailed and in depth. So if you're listening to this, I suggest you put your thinking head on and maybe listen to this episode 2 or 3 times, because it's not something I talk about often. And when I do, it's something that I normally talk about only with people who are paying me a fuck ton of money, because it's that esoteric, but it's worth listening to, because it's almost like we know what we're fucking talking about. Almost. And that is basically how to deal with competitors, what to do when your competitors cut their prices. I mean, it's easy to say, well, just ignore it, just forget about it and don't bother because it doesn't matter. But that's a little bit, I would say short-sighted. I don't know if I get this fucking thing on top. I would say short-sighted, but you might want to keep an eye on the ball, because there may be times it may affect your business. It's unlikely to most of the time, but sometimes it might. But even so, even if it doesn't affect your business, listening to what I say now, what I showed you now, will equip you to ignore and overcome the emotional knee-jerk reaction to drop your prices too. Because that's the thing most people do. This is why we get price wars. And as we've said before in previous episodes, nobody wins a price war, not even the client, not even your competitors. Nobody does. You all end up just working harder for less, and the client suffers because the quality of delivery tends to suffer. So when your competitors drop their prices and you see this, or you perceive this, there's 3 things to do. The first thing is to establish they are actually offering that discount. Yeah, because if you get, say, someone walk in your front door or phone you up and say, well, I've asked, your competitor down the road and they said they'll do it for X, Y, and Z pounds, you don't necessarily know that's true. Because as we've said before, sometimes prospects and clients will lie to you. Most people in civilized society think lying is generally a bad thing. I mean, there's maybe a few grey areas, like, do you have any Jews in your house? And we're going to drag them out and shoot them if you do. And you might say no, which is the lesser evil. But for the most part, most of us tend to agree telling lies is not big and clever. But when it comes to lying to salespeople, it seems all bets are off. It's fine to tell a lie to a salesman because then you get something cheap. I don't really understand the morality of it. I mean, it's not something I would do. I'm not claiming to be holier than thou or whiter than white, but I tend not to lie because there's no point. One of the reasons I don't lie is I don't give a shit about other people's thoughts and feelings and what their opinions are. So there's no point in lying. So first, establish they are offering a discount. How do you do this? Well, easy. I mean, just look at the prices. If it's a retail environment, if you can. And if it comes to it, do a bit of fucking mystery shopping. Ring up, get someone else to ring up. It's not that difficult. If someone comes in and says, Fred down the road will do it for cheaper, we'll say, well, show me the quote. Don't just tell me, show me. If you can't or won't show me, it's not happening. Any claim requires evidence to back it up. If any claim made without evidence can be discounted without evidence too. And then, assuming they are offering a discount, establish to see if there are any conditions attached, tying contracts, like you've got to buy from us for the next 200,000 years. You've got to buy $1 million a week, that kind of thing. Are there conditions attached? Is it just a one-time purchase? Is this a free and above board purchase, or are there conditions attached to it? Because if there are, you might think, well, I'm not prepared to do it. I don't want to tie people in like that. This is a high volume thing. I can't even provide that volume if I wanted to. And it's all well and good to say, oh, this guy says he'll decorate a house for, I don't know, £1,000, and you're charging 5,000, only to find out the guy's doing it for £1,000 has got a massive estate with 2,000 houses on it, and he's doing a discount that way because he's got economies of scale and stuff. Well, that you can't match that for one person's house. So, you know, are there any conditions attached? And the third thing you need to do is, I think this is more for retail really, but it's still valid. You know, when I say retail or even wholesale, if you're shifting a lot of this stuff, if you're selling stuff as opposed to just doing things, service-based stuff. And are they clearing out old stock? Meaning, are they shipping and receiving? If they're just shipping, then it's possible they're clearing out old stock. Well, if you are doing the same thing, you are still receiving, so you're still putting stuff through your business, not clearing out old stock. You might not want to drop their prices. They may be dropping their prices just to get rid of an old line. And maybe have a new stock, new model coming along. So those three things you need to do. Make sure they are actually offering the discount, see if there are terms and conditions attached to it. And the third thing is, are they actually clearing out old stock? Are they doing this as an ongoing thing, or is this a special, unique reason? Yeah, don't just drop your price. Does that make sense, Mr. Benham?
Perfect sense. That's why I did not butt in once.
No. Well, I realise this is probably a little bit beyond your level of understanding.
Oh, you fucking fucker. Suck my dick. Suck my dick.
Well, the fact you're swearing at me now suggests I'm correct, you know?
You've read one textbook, yeah, and you called yourself...
I've read one textbook, yeah. But I'm in the business for 20 years and I've read one fucking textbook, yeah.
Yeah, you're a one-trick pony, you are, mate. Put your prices up.
Yeah, and your problem is... Talking about textbook, talking about textbooks, it's just sparked off something. There's this fucking so-called business coach guru type twat on LinkedIn, right? And the other day, someone posted saying, it was a lady post saying, this guy told a story which related, and it's funny enough, to pricing, which is why it caught my eye. And he says he told a story about the ice cream van. The ice cream van used to come, and they always used to give away a free bag of crisps with every ice cream, until they discovered that giving away the bag of crisps meant they were making no profit on the ice cream. So they stopped doing it. Okay. And everyone got really pissy and stopped when the ice cream van came. They wouldn't go out and buy for it because they'd been conditioned into a freebie. Well, that's a valid point. I mean, that is a valid lesson. It's a great metaphor. Well, it's not even a metaphor. It's a great story. And it's exactly what happens. You know, if you habitually sell at a discount, say you give away loads of free stuff on your email list or something like that, if you're in our line of work or anything like that, when you then try to change and try to charge people, they get pissy about it. And you'll often end up having to start with a new list or something because it's hard to train buyers you've trained into accepting things for free. Now, this is just fucking human nature. People will take you for granted, just like they will in a marriage, I suppose. Anyway, so you know, give him credit. This is a good story, and it's a very illustrative and indicative one, and it's a great learning tool. But then he goes off on one saying about how he gets people into deep hypnotic states.
What?
Well, and then he takes them to the he's got the alpha, beta, and gamma, alpha, beta, theta brainwaves, and he starts talking about gamma, which are legit, and then delta and epsilon. And I thought this doesn't sound like any sense to me at all. And he starts going out, you know, he takes people deeper in installs new behaviors and shit like that, you know, the typical kind of NLP fucking cockwank. So I did a bit of research very quickly, and nowhere could I find in any scholarly articles whatsoever any reference to delta or epsilon brainwaves. The only references I could find online to delta and epsilon brainwaves were in these small circle of incestuous fucking mindset websites where people are just making shit up. That kind of thing, I'd like to take them out and shoot them because it's just bollocks. There is no, I mean, I could be wrong. I could have missed it. You know, there might be papers out there, but I could find in a 10-minute search, I could find no scholarly reference to any peer-reviewed scientific papers that mention in any way, shape or form delta or epsilon brainwaves. It all came from these load of bollocks websites where they just say this stuff without any evidence. It's fucking wrong, man. People should not be doing this. It's so disingenuous. It's dishonest. And you don't need to, because it's a really good story.
Yeah.
Well, why can't you just take the story at fucking face value?
I fucking hate the way they behave like they can treat us like computers. So I found this cunt's Delta brainwave. I opened up the flash drive, put my USB in it, and installed a bunch of new behaviors.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I mean, they'll throw in a few words like neuroscience, and they'll say things like neuroscientists have found, but they don't support that with any evidence. And like I say, I couldn't find any fucking reference to any neuroscientist any fucking where talking about fucking epsilon fucking brain fucking waves. It's just a load of fucking shit. Anyway, that's a very much a digression.
It is a digression.
Next thing is, you can, it drives me fucking mad, man. It really does. The thing is, like I just said, it was so pointless because it was a really good story. The story was powerful enough to stand on its own without fucking making up all this mindset guru bollocks. It's like, who was it? It may have been Richard Dawkins, but someone says the universe is amazing enough to give you a beautiful garden without having to believe that a fairy is living at the end of it. You know, it's fucking right. Yeah, I can't remember who it was. Google it. You can find the original reference somewhere. Anyway,
I just to stay on this note for one more minute, and you just have to promise not to be too disappointed in me.
I'm waiting.
Do you promise?
Well, no, I can't promise. I don't know my level of disappointment, do I? I'm not going to make a promise I don't know I can keep. I will do my best not to be too disappointed in you. That's the best I can do.
I love you, mate. Oh, God. So I was watching...
That's why my disappointment might be crushing.
I was watching this TV show called Couples Come Dine With Me. I think I've spoke about it on it before.
I'm very disappointed already.
Basically, it's three couples get together. They all host a dinner party, and the other two couples score it out of 10. The winner gets $1,000. I've definitely spoke about it before. It's a guilty pleasure. Anyway, I was watching an episode, and it was located in Portsmouth, where I live now. I was like, this would be good. I watched it, and there was this fat lady and this geezer with a receding hairline, and they had a beautiful house. And they started off by saying, we built it ourselves. She runs her own business. And I was thinking, fair fucking play. And then obviously, like an onion, the layers start peeling back. She's into alternate medicine. And the reason they had to build their house was because they didn't trust existing houses. Every single wall has tin foil in it.
No.
Not get cell phone reception because they are worried about the brainwaves and shit. They have no microwave or anything like that, no TV, because they are worried about all the waves that can infect them and how they think. And they're saying all of this crazy shit on that level. And then they took it one further. They took it one fucking further. They had something like 20,000 rose quartz crystals laid into the foundations of their house. So anybody who ever steps foot in it will feel the love instantly. And when people were walking in the house, they were like, do you feel the love? Do you feel the love? They paid to have rose quartz crystals, 20,000 of the fucking things, into the foundations of their house. So this bitch got rich off being a fucking lunatic.
I don't know. I can't even. Well, Mrs. EBG is coming to the door. What do you want, Mrs. EBG? You're on live on a podcast. What? Kinky sex? Yeah, all right. I've got to go, Connor. Mrs. EBG's after kinky sex. Oh, not with me. Oh, okay.
I just want to go to the vet shop and get the big bag of food because it's supposed to be found tomorrow weather.
Okay. You see how exciting our lives are?
Yeah.
Sarah comes to the office to tell me she's going to get cat food. So we hold nothing back in this place, Love you.
Love you too. Yeah. Bye, Connor. Take care.
So we hold nothing back. We live right on the fucking edge. We get cat food, late in the afternoon.
To avoid the bad weather tomorrow.
Before the bad weather tomorrow. Anyway, leave that in. I think the listeners need to know what John gets up to.
Your crazy, crazy lifestyle.
Fucking wild, man. Anyway, so
That's the original program.
that's the original point. So when your competitors do kind of drop prices, and you've done these three things, you've established they're offering, if they are offering a discount or not, and you've established if the conditions attached, times, that kind of thing, or they're just clearing out all stock. Well, what if they are? What if they're genuinely dropping their prices and they're effectively inviting you to a price war? What do you do? Well, what you don't do is join in the price war. Because like I just said, nobody wins a price war, not even the customer or the client. On the contrary, it harms everybody. And you got to remember that, when someone tries to start a fight with you, literally or metaphorically, you don't have to respond. If someone posts a comment on LinkedIn trying to get you into an argument, you read something on LinkedIn or Facebook you disagree with or disapprove of, somebody tries, literally, in a pub, try to start a fight with you, you're quite, it's quite permissible to walk away, and often shows a greater strength of character. Going back to my school days, when my metalwork teacher had a thing on his wall, a poster, it said, it often shows a fine command of English to say nothing. Yeah, do not drop your prices. That's the knee-jerk reaction. That's what most people do. The thing to do, there's a couple of things you can do. The first is hold your prices and wait to see if your sales volume is actually effective. It might not be. It might not affect you at all. Bearing in mind, you can actually lose some sales and still be making more money, all that kind of thing. But if your competitor, you find out they've suddenly dropped their prices, don't do anything yet. Just keep a watching brief on it first. Hold where you are, business as usual, and see if your sales volume is effective. Chances are it won't be. If they are, say, clearing out old stock, or they've got some very strict terms and conditions attached to that price, which means that they're not going to get a high volume themselves, or indeed they're not dropping their price at all because you've been lied to, then your own volume will hold steady. It should do anyway. There's no reason for it to drop. In which case, there's no need for you to drop your prices at all. There's no need for you to react to this news other than maybe even put your prices up, right? Then they may even be at capacity. So even if it's a genuine price reduction, and they're going to continue it, it may be they get a bit of extra work for a little while. So your sales volume might drop a little bit for a while, but then it goes back up again because they can't cope with the extra demand. They are maxed out. And what you don't want to do is join them by dropping your prices and becoming maxed out at the low price yourself. What you want to be is maxed out with a higher price and then keep putting your prices up until you're not maxed out anymore. Because we've said before, if you are one sign you're undercharging is you're too busy. Well, let them be the busy ones. So if your competitors invite you to join a price war, you figure out this is a legit price reduction, hold your prices to see if the volume is affected. If it's not, no worries. Yeah. But what if it is? What do we do then, Connor?
Dun, dun, dun. You go back to bed and shut the curtains and wait for it to all blow over, just like that geezer did in LinkedIn with the lockdown.
Oh man, I couldn't believe that. This guy, I mean, on so many levels was that fucked up. First, he did that in the first place. I mean, he lost all 5 of his clients in the first week. When the 5th email came in saying, "So long and thanks for the fish," he said, "I shut the curtains and went back to bed." First, he did that. The second thing is he posted that he did that on a public forum. Imagine, right? Imagine you were thinking about engaging someone in his industry to do your work, and you're thinking, he looks like a decent guy to work with. I'm thinking about working with him. Then all of a sudden you say, when things get difficult, he closes the curtains to go back to bed. All right. Not my kind of
What a
believer.
strong, inspiring young man to work with, eh?
Absolutely. I mean, that would fill me with fucking enthusiasm, drive, confidence, all those things.
In the midst of the worst pandemic we'll ever see in our lifetimes, I like dealing with pussies.
Yeah, yeah. At the moment, we all wanted people to be strong and show leadership. He went back to bed with the curtains closed. Yeah, let's give him our business. We want him on our team. I want to go into battle with him on point, you know.
I'm so fucking macho. I'll go to bed with the curtains open.
Yeah, fucking hell. I go to bed with the curtains open even when I don't lose clients. Seriously, I mean, what a fucking thing to do. But even worse than doing it, maybe, is fucking admitting to it.
Oh God!
And boasting about it.
If you do it, yeah, you give yourself half a day to fucking line your misery and acknowledge you're being a miserable loser little cunt. That's the only time I'd accept anyone doing that, if they accepted they're a fucking loser in that moment. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone's a loser every now and again. But to put it on LinkedIn and wear it like a badge of honor,
Exactly.
that's exactly what's wrong with society at the moment. We celebrate fucking losers and we sympathise with them.
I mean, we do.
Which just encourages further losing. Why do we encourage
celebrate
losers?
Weakness? You know, it's like bullying at school. I don't get me wrong. Bullying is absolutely, bullying anywhere is wrong, and the strong should defend the weak, and we should fucking hammer it hard when we see it. But we should also be teaching children to deal with bullying themselves. Because let's face it, the world is, I mean, if the worst thing that ever happens to you is you get bullied a little bit at school, you ain't had a bad life. And when you leave school, if you've been cosseted and mollycoddled all the way through school, and you come out into the real world, you're going to fucking have a miserable time. Unless, of course, we engineer society so that it's full of weak things anyway. And that does seem to be the way we're going, I suppose.
It feels like that way.
No? But okay, great. In a world full of weak people, the strong will thrive. You know, we don't have to let their weakness affect us and infect us, do we? So anyway, what happens when if you get a decrease in volume? Well, what you do not do, chorus of angels. Yeah. What you do not do is drop your prices. Because dropping your prices is fucking deadly. All right. What you should do is improve your service. Now, imagine, this is just a ballpark figure because it would depend on the individual business concerned, but this is not too inaccurate for most businesses. On a 35% gross margin, that's the number we tend to use, right? And if it's a smaller margin, then the effects will be even more profound. But on a 35% gross margin, to triple, say, the average budget for customer service of your average firm. Now, this is just ballpark figures, so please don't get all pissy about this. To triple your budget for customer service, so to improve the customer service or the customer experience by 3 times, maybe by buying flowers, sending them to hotels and things when you painted the house, all that kind of stuff, to give them a great experience. If you're operating on a 35% margin, it takes about a 5% increase in your sales volume to pay for that. That's all. Yeah, so that increase in service can be free if you just increase your sales volume by 5%. Well, that ain't hard, is it? I mean, if you were to get your salespeople to make twice as many calls, because most of them don't, they just sit there fucking twiddling their thumbs, have a cup of tea, go out for a pitch. And if you get your salespeople to work 10% harder, there's a good chance you'll make it about 5%. You make it the 5% probably anyway, just by doing all kinds of stuff I'll talk about in a minute. But 5% increase in sales volume is all it's required to give your clients a 3 times better experience, roughly. Do your own numbers, your own business. And to be honest, given how much most businesses spend on their customer service, especially tradesmen, let's face it, not knocking the guys, but your average electrician, plumber, whatever, there is no real customer service at all. They just do a good job.
Yeah. That's
what, I'm not saying they do a bad job, but there's no real customer experience. They're just not. They turn up, they do the job, they go. We talk about things like clean van, nice uniform, bunch of flowers for the lady of the house, maybe a little thank you note before and after. All those nice touches, like Zach's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They won't even cost you. I mean, the budget is very minimal at the best of times. To triple it would cost you nothing. So you might be looking at 10 times as much for most guys because they're spending nothing on it right now, or almost nothing. Because if they're spending nothing, then 10 times it is 0 as well. Anything times 0 is 0. So, but you get my point. But if you were to decrease your price by 2% in order to keep up with the Joneses, your competitors, and bearing in mind nobody offers a 2% decrease in price. You just don't. It's usually 10%, isn't it? 5%. Or you see shops 50% off everything. Fucking hell. That makes me fucking. Well, that honestly makes my fucking scrotum constrict. But anyway, if you were to decrease your prices on a 35% gross margin by just 2%, it requires an 11% increase in volume of sales to maintain the same revenue. Get your fucking gums around that one, boys and girls. Increase your levels of service by 3 times, and probably a lot more for most tradespeople, but 3 times on a 35% margin, a 5% increase in volume of sales is all you got to do. That's not difficult. But just a 2% decrease in your price to match your competitors, you need to increase your volume of sales by 11%. Ain't gonna fucking happen, man. It just ain't.
And also think about the type of business you want to run, that you want to have your name attached to.
Well, exactly. But I mean, all that aside, the numbers just do not fucking work out.
No. I just know that some people listening are likely stupid. Oh, well, you still have to drop your price. No.
You don't. Well, the numbers are unarguable. I can show people the fucking calculations if they want. How to do this, and maybe we will. Maybe we'll put it as a download in the next couple of episodes, so people can see it for themselves.
Oh, God.
But
most people wouldn't even know how to give them an 11% increase in sales volume, let alone 5%.
Well, no, I mean, it's more than twice as much as you've got to increase the sales volume for by effectively the same price. Because let's face it, a 2% cut is nothing.
Yeah,
so just
it's nothing.
Think of that. You effectively got the same price. And the choice is, do we increase the sales by 5% or do we increase it by 11%? It doesn't make any sense. Plus, as you said, the fact is with a higher price, you'll get the better buyer, the better experience. There's just nothing to recommend cutting your prices. So, the message I want to give here to people is, when your competitors are cutting their prices, and when I hear you say, we're in a cutthroat industry, well, like any fight, it takes 2 people. We're not talking about being attacked. It's not hostile takeover. This is people This is people in the playground playing push me, shove you. Yeah? They are provoking you into a fight, into a price war. This is not an attack where you have to defend yourself. That's different. That's self-defense. This is not self-defense. This is you willingly stepping up to the plate and getting into a slugging match. Yeah, when all you got to lose is your prices and then your entire business and livelihood. Food for thought, eh?
It is food for thought. It is food for thought. Did you mention how you should deal with another way to deal with the decrease in volume, sales volume?
Oh God, yeah.
I think you did.
No, I didn't. I meant to. Yeah. On top of all that, because we're going to talk about increasing you're increasing your volume of sales. Well, how would you increase your volume of sales? So you triple your budget, 5 times, 10 times your customer service budget, because at the minute you don't really have any. You just do a good job and you're clean and that's it. You don't do the flowers. You don't do the leather bound fucking quote. You don't do the sending off to the.
You don't wash your clothes.
You don't do any of these things. Yeah. But say you triple that budget, so you're now spending a fair bit of money on the customer experience, and you need to increase the sales by 5%. How do you do that? Well, easily. Better marketing, new media, better targeting, more focused campaigns. The number of times I've Googled, say, just recently for my kind of hobby, woodworking in the barn, I might Google, say, drill press, a drill press for making holes, drill press. And I'll try and buy them locally, because with Brexit, it's just fucking easier now. So, I'll Google buy drill press Ireland, and I end up and this is Google AdWords, so they're paying money for these. I'll end up on the homepage of hardware stores where there's just a big list of drills, hammers, saws, everything. I should be landing on fucking drill press pages. Well, by the same token, when people are if you're selling painting and decorating and you've got something specific like wallpapering, and people click on your ad, they should land on a page you've got dedicated to your wallpapering service, not general decorating. Yeah, they might look at that later on, but they want to hear about fucking wallpapering.
have it at the top. Nothing more infuriating when you think you're clicking on something and you have to go, hang on a minute, am I in the right place?
Yeah, exactly. What's the fuck's it? Broken link or what?
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about your website. They just want to get the thing they want.
So you have better marketing, new media, better targeting, more focused campaigns, follow up with, what do you call it? Retargeting. I mean, I don't know. You tell me, you're the expert. How much does a retargeting ad cost, say, for a local builder or a local electrician? And for the watcher or the listener, what that means is somebody, say, clicks on your website, so you want to retarget them. So the next time they go on to, say, Facebook, they are being shown ads on Facebook for your business because they clicked on your website. Or indeed with Google, they've clicked on a Google ad or they've clicked on your page and they're getting shown ads on Google or by Google for your business because they've clicked on your web page. How much do those ads cost on Facebook, Connor? Local.
It depends on the quality of the audience, but as a rule of thumb, especially for local, you'd be paying £5 roughly for 1,000 people.
And you think if you're in a local postcode area where you're doing electrical stuff or plumbing, so you're maybe in a city the size of Leicester and you specialise in the more affluent areas, Oadby and Knighton and places, it just make, and bearing in mind these are people who visited your website, so you're not advertising to the whole of the postcode area, you're advertising to people in those postcode areas who have clicked on your web page. Well, you're probably talking of tens of people, and your conversion rate will be insane because they may have looked at a page about wallpapering and all of a sudden they're seeing ads on Facebook saying, hey, my name's Fred, you hit my page, I can do your wallpapering for you. I mean, your conversion rate is going to be insane. And for £5, you can hit 1,000 of those, which means that £5 might last you for weeks, won't it? You might be paying £5 or £10 every couple of months. And you might only get one person from it, but that person could be worth thousands. But of course, what do we know? It's not like we know what we're talking about, is it?
Even you can set it up so you can even just spend £1 a day, for example, just to retarget fucking every page on your website, and you can set it up with Facebook now, essentially using logical conditioning. So depending on what page they land on, depends on what ad they see, and you can set that up for £1 a day. So that would cost you 30 quid a month, and every page on your website would essentially be covered with an additional retargeting campaign.
It doesn't make any sense for them not to do this, but of course it's work. And it's not sexy like social media marketing. Yeah.
But there's also that is work. You're right. People always used to come to me say, "Oh, you're a social media marketing expert," and I used to say yes. Because I thought they'd know the difference between paid Facebook advertising and Facebook advertising. Very quickly learned that they just wanted me to post their shit for them on their pages and just be a little fucking lackey. So I had to start explaining to people. Well, my friends started saying it as well. And they'd pass me leads thinking they were being helpful, but it was for their mother's florist who wanted me to post on their Facebook page. And I was like, no. You need at least £1,000 a month budget to be working with me. I help you buy ads. Anyway, I digress. There's another method that I spoke about at the event that just went past. Again, super cheap, super effective for local businesses. And it's called carpet bombing or napalm striking. It's been given many a name by many a different person who thinks they're fucking God's gift when they discover it. But you can set up a Facebook campaign for £10 a day, let's say. You got a little bit more money to spend. You're willing to spend a few hundred quid on advertising. You set it up £10 a day, and you target all of the affluent postcodes in your area that you service. And you have a very short 10 to 30 second long video that very clearly states your service at the beginning and your offer. Anybody who then watches 50% or more of that video is probably watching it because they got a slight interest in the offer that the service you are offering. The retargeting on a campaign like that would be more like £2 for 1,000 people. So you then pay the £2 to retarget the 1,000 people that have watched that video, and you make them a direct offer. Click here to schedule your cleaning, or click here to schedule your wall painting, whatever it is. the ROIs I've seen on campaigns like that are just like 1,000 ROI, because you pay, I reckon, 30 pence on a local market to get someone to watch half a video. And then the retargeting is so cheap, £2 for 1,000 people. Yeah.
Now, this is the kind of thing, I mean, we are getting a bit off topic here, but this is the kind of thing we teach in our foundations. And we've got guys doing this, and it just beggars belief. It just beggars belief other people aren't doing it. But this is direct response marketing. And this is what you don't see on LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn, it's all about, hey, you've got to give value and build a relationship. Imagine if these people, these twonks on LinkedIn who spend all this time asking each other what kind of ice cream or potato they are, if they spent that time, they spend indulging in themselves in these posts and then commenting on them. If they spent that time putting together campaigns like that, just think how much better they'd do.
God, yeah.
Scary, isn't it? Really?
Stop reading books about how to be a better heartpreneur and shit like that.
The fuck's a heartpreneur?
Do you not remember? It was like a couple of years back, all of these different preneurs started sprouting. A heartpreneur was one of those businesses that was usually by a new age dickhead hippie who said, everything I do is from the heart. So I'm not an entrepreneur. They're bad. I'm a heartrepreneur because I care about you. I got a lot of love. It's fucking bollocks.
I remember.
Bollocks. And there was. I remember fucking people calling themselves mumpreneurs.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I found that so weird. Like
solopreneur.
Why you let? Solopreneur. What the fuck? To be honest, I hate the word entrepreneur now. People say you're very entrepreneurial. I just go, no, I'm not a fucking idiot, and I don't want a job. I couldn't have a job.
How about coachpreneur? You've never seen that one?
God, I've never seen that one. That might be
it's
stupid.
Nauseating, man. It's fucking nauseating.
Mentalpreneur. Constructionpreneur.
Cock crumble.
Imagine painters started. I'm not a painter. I'm a paintpreneur.
Fucking hell. I'm a pigmentation application specialist.
I hate that word, entrepreneur. Oh, you're a young entrepreneur, are you? No fucking
business
Paltrow.
So anyway, that was how to deal with price competitors when they increase their prices. No matter what you do, please do not jump into this fucking stupidity of, oh fuck, we've got to drop our prices because they have down the road.
Just laugh at them.
Yeah, no. Laugh at them and send them the shitty business you don't want.
Yeah, and there's something that I feel that we should have almost digged into a little bit harder earlier, is when you said, wait till they're at capacity, because if people really want this job doing, they'll then have to turn to you. And your prices will be higher, and if they want the thing and you can show them you're going to deliver a better experience and a better service, they're essentially sending business your way, because people will pay a premium to get it done sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is nothing to be gained by cutting your prices like that. It's just not.
And yet it's most business owners' first response.
It is, and it's price is a huge issue for most people. Not because it's intrinsic in itself a big thing. It's just that it's in people's heads. People have got this huge
money's dirty.
Yeah, well, you think about the language people use around price and money. When someone, if you go into not a restaurant perhaps so much, but you go into a shop, and I bet this has happened to you at least once. It's happened to me several times over the years. You go into a shop and something will be expensive, be a lot of money. And when they present you the bill, they'll apologise. I'm sorry, it's quite a lot. It's a high bill. Like a garage, mechanics particularly. I'm sorry, it's a lot of money. Why are they apologising? If they're genuine about what they've done and what the problem they've fixed, why are they apologising? Why don't they just say, it's more than I thought it was going to be? It's more than you probably expected, because here's what we've had to do.
Yeah, why you'll be pleased.
Yeah, you should be pleased with how I fixed this.
Yeah, and we've also done this, that, and the other. Yeah, just
even from the other side, when you're asking the price, people will say things like, "What's the damage? How much are you going to sting me for this time?" You know, the language around price is quite negative. Never mind people's attitude to it about, I can't ask that much. One of the things we went to Dublin on a train. We several times. We went once and we missed the train we'd booked, so we had to rebook the tickets. We go first class, obviously. So we went to the ticket desk, and there should have been a €5 fee for changing the train, right? That's the company policy. We were fine with it because we missed the train. But the lady on the counter, she took one look at the tickets. I think they're €100 each return, which is about twice what it is for cattle class. And she said, "Oh, I can't charge you for that. You've already paid enough." And she did it for free. But it wasn't her money to give away. She had no right to do that. But she did because she got it in her head. We couldn't. Yeah, we just paid €100 for fucking return tickets. We're honestly not that bothered about 10 more. Well, €200 for both of us. We are not that bothered about another €10 for fucking changing the times on tickets when we have missed the fucking train. That's our fault, not yours. But she decided unilaterally, no, I can't charge you that much. You've paid enough already. It wasn't her money to give away. So people have a real fucking hang up about prices. And one of the big difficulties about pricing is getting over that, getting it out of your head, moving past it. And as you know from our work in foundations, one of the guys, I'm not going to name him, but one of the guys in the last couple of Q&As on the Wednesday night has said he doesn't want to increase his prices and alienate some customers. That's not about his customer, that's about him.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he's doing it, but he's finding it hard.
Which is fine.
You're
allowed to find this stuff hard as long as you're doing it.
Yeah, when you get this resistance because you think the other person can't or won't or doesn't want to afford what you're charging them, you're making a grave error, because you are not only are you second guessing it, you're trying to read their mind and decide for them. You're trying to decide for them what it's worth to them, which you don't have the rights to do, and you certainly don't have the ability either. You just cannot do that. But more than that, you're actually depriving people of the opportunity to make their own mind up, which I think is a heinous crime. It's like when you lie to someone, you tell them a white lie to save their feelings. You're not actually lying to save their feelings at all. You're lying to save your own feelings, to seeing their distress possibly. You don't have the right to do it. You should tell people the truth, and otherwise you're depriving them of the opportunity to deal with these things on their own and maybe grow. Hey, you might say to them, "You're not going to like this, so you might want to prepare yourself," but here's the truth.
Water them like little flowers.
Jerk off over them like little gym socks.
Anyway, let's wrap this up, big man, and let's wrap it up in the best part of the show every single fucking time. What's the 1 minute hate?
The 1 minute hate. It's people, specifically, almost always specifically religious people, who don't understand the difference between theory and a hypothesis.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay, this is going to be good. This is going to be interesting. I like the sound of this. All right. Hey, Siri, set a timer for 59 seconds.
You can't. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. Right.
Hey,
people
Siri,
who don't understand the difference between
that
theory
timer. Stop
and a
it.
hypothesis.
You just wasted. Shut up. You just wasted like 10 seconds.
No,
So
it's
let me
my
start it
hate.
again for you. So you want to do a 48-second hate?
For fuck's sake.
It's not got the same ring to it.
Just start it for a minute, will you?
I'm trying. I need you to stop so I can talk to my virtual assistant. Hey, Siri, cancel that timer and set a new timer for 1 minute.
There's only a 59-second timer. Cancel it?
Yeah.
It's canceled.
My other timer? Hey, Siri, set a timer for 1 minute.
1 minute. Starting now.
Go.
Right. People who don't understand the difference between theory and a hypothesis. It is almost exclusively reserved for people who deny evolution. Evolution is a fact. It's indisputable. It's the most rigorously tested and investigated theory in science. A theory in science is a body of evidence which suggests and points to one conclusion which is inescapable, to the point it would be perverse to think it's untrue. A hypothesis is just your wild guess at how things might hang together. So when people say about evolution, yes, but it's just a theory, and indeed any other scientific theory, they are complete fucking retards who are completely scientific illiterate, because a theory is not just some harebrained, half-assed idea of how things might be. That would be a guess or indeed a hypothesis. A theory is as close to the truth as we can expect it to be. And in scientific terms, that's about 6 sigma. So for a theory to be wrong is almost never happens. For evolution to be wrong ain't going to happen after 150 years of concerted study. But
you were going on one then. That was more like a science lecture. Hey Siri, shut up. That could have been a 10-minute hate, because we've had fucking 4-hour hates over.
I mean, I have heard some very and seen some very well respected, educated people, even with I respect myself, say, yeah, but it's just a theory. You know, Robert Ringer springs to mind. Evolution being a theory does not mean it's just something that's a vague idea. It's supported by, probably, it is the most well-supported scientific theory we have. It's been supported endlessly over 150 years or so. And there isn't a single bit of conflicting evidence. And that's all it would take. You know, if we had the wrong thing appearing in the wrong place at the wrong time in the fossil record, for instance, evolution would be blown out of the water. It's just not happened. Everything we do, everything shows evolution to be a fact. But retards don't want to accept it. I even know people who won't accept that human beings are apes. We're apes. That's just it.
Really?
We're fucking not. Look at the fucking genome. It tells you that. And it's so robust. We have one fewer chromosome than chimpanzees. And at the end of each chromosome, there's a marker. And there's a marker in the middle as well. So before we could actually do this, they knew all the rest of the evidence says we were descended from chimps. They're our closest cousins. And they basically said, if on chromosome, I think it's 13, if they said the chromosome will look like this, it will be 2 end markers, 2 middle markers, yeah, and then 2 end markers stuck together because they're fused. If it doesn't look like that, evolution is wrong. And guess what happened when they could get to the point where they could resolve this and see this? It's exactly what they found. Evolution predicted that's what the chromosome would look like, because it had to. You know, that's how fucking sure we are of this. We've even had speciation around a volcano ring, where you've got species A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, and so on. Yeah, and the species next to each other and maybe 2 apart can interbreed, but the ones at the ends can't. That's speciation. It's shown in the real way. There's just no fucking argument against it. All these fucking stupid cunts go, it's just a theory. I'm going to get a big shot thing and poke into my own eyeball. Honestly. Anyway.
And on that note,
if you'd like to make more money with less work, less hassle and fewer headaches by getting better clients, selling them at higher fees, and have it all fed in the background with a big turgid and moist pipeline, which itself is fed behind the scenes, hands off, and on autopilot, what you need to do is join us on Wednesday night. That's tomorrow. No, that is tomorrow. Beg your pardon. Tomorrow for our free webinar, how to sell at higher prices than your competitors. When we'll be talking about all the stuff we've talked about in the last 3 or 4 episodes of the podcast, but in more detail. Okay. To get on the list for that, you need to go to growyourbusinessfast.co.uk/free-training, or just email holly@growyourbusinessfast.co.uk and she'll get you sorted out. In the meantime, stay safe, stay inside, wash your hands. Please do not confuse and conflate theories and hypotheses, and do not shit on your fingers. Goodbye.
Ciao. All right, Marvin, stop it there. John, I need you to do one thing more. We need to have a call to action to join us for the event tomorrow at the beginning of the episode, please. So if you just record a 10-second spiel being like, hey, just recording this after the fact, just to let you know there's an important event tomorrow. And then Marvin, hopefully you're still fucking watching this. Whatever John says now, take that and just whack that at the very front of the episode. Then roll the intro music if we still have the intro music. And then, just as normal, business as usual. Sound good?
Yeah. Right.
Awesome.
Cue the intro. Just a quick interruption here before we start the podcast. If you're free tomorrow night, please join us for our how to sell at prices higher than your competitors. Okay, it's a free webinar. It's tomorrow night. I'm going to put it at the front of the podcast because it's really, really important you attend. To get on the list, all you need to do is go to growyourbusinessfast.co.uk/free-training or email Holly at growyourbusinessfast.co.uk. And there'll be no selling on this webinar. It's completely free, so keep your card in your purse, your pocket, or your wallet. Just sit down, listen, take notes, and then take action. Right, roll on, boys.